How do? Sorry.
So good.
Listen, sorry about
I
that.
ended up on curb.
No, listen, somebody messaged me and said, why do you always try and scare people with how do? I don't. It's just it's how do, let's get on with it. So sorry about that.
Thanks.
That's whoever left a comment's fault, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
So Keith, IPP Keith, life story. Where do you want to start, mate? Can I just say that thanks for meeting today, Bank Holiday Monday. I've been painting all weekend. I'd rather poke my eyes out with a shitty stick, and it's been a pleasure.
Nice one, mate. Pleasure for me as well, as always.
Yeah, and can I just say, my nan always used to say, if you can't fate, wear a daft hat.
All right. Well, there you go.
Have you ever heard that before?
No, but that's why I'm wearing a daft hat.
No, I somebody messaged and said, I don't know whether you saw the comment, he said that I know Keith when he was younger. A bit of a game lad in, me and him had a few ding dongs like, but obviously not in a bad way. You know, it was quite a nice comment. So, yeah.
Somebody said that to you, didn't you?
No, in the comments, it said that I knew him when he was younger, he was a game lad. And now he was talking, you and him had got it on like, but it was quite a respectful comment, you know, not a...
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, been and done.
Yeah, of course. So, wherever you want to start, mate.
Okay, so...
Are you sitting comfortable?
I'm comfy.
Good.
Born in Salford, as it was Old Hospital then. Mum and dad, only child up until ages 7, then my brother was born. See, I've been a tearaway since the age of 2. I used to get up at 2-year-old and make my way out of the living room and take a chair to the front door and take out locks off, and I'd get off. I used to live on Hilltop, and I'd get off round back fields, you know, and when my dad would come downstairs, I can't imagine what they felt the first time that happened.
Terror.
Yeah, I had all the windows nailed shut and all that, and you know, so yeah, I was doing not right things from the age of 2
Any
onwards.
diagnosis, ADHD or anything like that?
Nothing. Well, it weren't about then, was it? ADHD. It was you're naughty. That was ADHD then. You know, that was your diagnosis. He's a bad child who grew out of it. I did see a child psychologist when I was 10, and they must, you know, I think he thought it was daft.
How did it come about that? Were your parents concerned?
Well, 7-year-old brother were born.
Yep.
I ran away from school, me, with school registry. I had Lyme Regis holiday money in it, paper money, like 5s and 10s and stuff, and I ran away with it all. I was only 7. I was stood at shop spending it all, and my auntie walks in, took back to school. That's the first time I encountered the police, and he said to me, I've got a feeling I'm going to see you again.
Really?
Yeah, you weren't wrong. 20 odd years later, I was in a police cell, and the flap come down, and I went, you alright, Keith? And I went, yeah, alright. He went, you don't remember me, do you? And I went, no. He went, St Paul's. I went, no, mate. He said, school register. I said, that ain't you. He went, yeah.
Did he remember you?
Remembered.
The name?
Yeah, he must have remembered the name. Yeah, so I'd done that at 7. I've been in quite a lot of trouble, doing different things, scratching teachers' cars, and just
Why?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. You see, when I was in therapy, they were saying, was it because you was an only child, your brother was born, your brother was getting, you know, Babby was getting attention, and did you feel, how do I know what I felt at 7-year-old? I don't know. You know, I don't know why I was doing things.
I was going to ask you that.
All maybe it was for attention. I don't know what it was for. Maybe I was just not right in some way. I don't know. But we didn't see doctors. And then at 10-year-old, I broke into my school with another lad, and we absolutely smashed it to pieces. Facing Brindley Arms, that school there, we trashed it and we put paint all over flooring. Following day, we'd gone to school. Police are there, and everyone's being ushered into the assembly hall, and you know, police are talking to us, and head teachers there, and they're saying, look, there's no school today. because something happened last night, and does anybody know anything? And I'm not saying anything, and we were sat on them little wooden benches.
The old PE benches.
Yeah, and I was at one end, and the lad I did it with was at the other end, with other kids between us. And I went coppers, said that I've looked down like that, and this lad's got his leg crossed, and all at bottom of his foot, he's got multicoloured paint. When he's come to school in the same shoes. So coppers had said that if you live on the estate, you'd have to cross the main road, you could go home. Whereas if you lived over the main road, an adult had come for you. So I was off out the door to me, and I'd gone home, and I walked in, and my mum sat in the living room, and I said, I've been sent home from the school, Mum. I said, somebody's broke into our school, smashed it to pieces. And she looked at me and she went, you've done that. And I went, what? I said, I haven't. She said, you've done that. I said, I haven't. Are you sure? Yeah. Where was you last night? Oh, it's just out such and such. Okay then. So I went playing with my little brother in the back garden. And it must have been about an hour later, Mum come back door and said, you wanted the front door. I thought it was the lad, with playing. I went to the front door and it was two coppers. Arrested me for burglary, criminal damage. And that was the first time I ended up in court. But I went to see the child psychologist, and
was that as recommendation from court?
No, not at all. I think it was just something my mum and dad, that I think they were at a loss as to what to do with me. I can't remember everything.
Did you have an happy childhood as far as home life?
Mate, do you know what? You couldn't ask for better parents.
So it's not the fact that you mistreated her out like that.
Oh no, I don't come from that. I mean, I've got a pretty big family, and none of them have ever been in trouble with police. Not even parking tickets, as far as I know. My mum and dad especially. Respectable people, worked all their lives, been married, nearly 50 years. I've never heard them swear. I've never heard my mum and dad swear.
No.
50 years, they're the type of people that do anything for anybody.
Yep.
Anyway,
so similar upbringing to me.
Yeah, and so I don't know why I went the way I went. Anyway, this child psychologist, he's asked me to draw a picture. I said, what? He said, just draw a picture, anything you want. Well, I weren't daft. I weren't going to draw, something flaming. So I drew a house with mum and dad, and brother and me, and son and garden, and my mum had gone for a coffee and come back, and he said to me, Mum's not wrong with him. He'd grow out of it, like. And that, what I now know, was art therapy. Yeah, that's what they do, yeah. So that was it. My mum, when it comes to psychologist, criminologist, therapist, she does not want to know. She's not interested in anything like that. From that one experience, she's just thought, you know what, they're a waste of bleeding time. So, so 10-year-old, we had to move house because my little brother still had to go to that school. Obviously, I get expelled. Yeah. My brother had to go to that school and finger pointing and things like that. And people on the estate, because it was in the papers. Obviously, I wasn't named because only 10. However,
what do you feel about that? Do you think not so much you, vandalism, but sort of people that are like 15, 16, 17, 18 in horrendous crimes can't be named? What do you think to that? That anonymity.
I don't know.
If that's even a word.
I don't know. Obviously, a child.
Where would you draw the line though? What? 18 you can't name someone. 19 you can.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, 10-year-old's probably right. I think. For the child's protection as well as everything else.
Yeah. No. I agree.
But yes, we moved house. We went from Wharton behind Brimley, Delside Grove to Longshore Drive in Littleton.
Yeah, I know Longshore Drive. Yeah.
So we moved to there.
5 years.
And I went to another school, Ilton Lane. Ilton Lane, went there.
Was that what changed to Arrett Fold School?
No. Ilton Lane. Separate? He's on Ilton Lane. Right. At the end of Ilton Lane, that's where you had Joey's. That's Arrett Fold.
Right, okay.
So I'm still in primary school, 10-year-old. Once I'd got to Little Alton, I think, started, let's say, just mixing with unsavoury people that, they were smoking weed and smoking cigs. And I think cigs come first at like 11, 12.
Yeah.
Then cannabis, smoking weed, just being an absolute idiot, drinking on the shops, drinking on the park.
Do you think you were always going to go that way though, because you'd already got a bit of that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what, Sam? I don't know, but do you know when I burgled the school at 10, I don't think I ever got over my mum and dad's disappointment. I know people forgive me for certain things. I don't think I ever forgive myself. And I thought, you know, what's the point? I think that's what I thought.
Really?
What's the point? Yeah. What's the point? I've disappointed them now.
So there's no coming back from that.
And that's I'm looking through going through therapy. I actually believe that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought back then. Maybe I didn't, but that's what I've got from the therapy. But I started taking acid. 13-year-old, staying out overnight on farmers' fields, and
How did you get away with that, mate? My mother.
Yeah.
I obviously a different generation, but I remember turning up late after my curfew, which used to get as a kid. My mother going nuts, worried, phoning coppers.
Yeah.
Coppers out looking for you.
Done it. Listen, I used to run away from home, and I don't know. I can't tell you why. It was me as a person. It was my lifestyle. It was my thought process. It was nothing to do with my family. They weren't doing anything wrong. I was running away from home. My dad was walking streets till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then having to go and do a 12-hour shift at the warehouse and stuff like that. It's horrible. And I think back now, he's been through a lot. He's been through something. They all have. My mum, my dad, and my brother.
Disciplined guy, your father, weren't he?
Yeah, definitely. He does everything right, He looks at the bigger picture to every situation. If I'd have listened to him,
you had a perfect role model.
If I'd have listened to half the stuff he said to me, Sam, I'd have been a good man.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know why. He went in one ear and out the other, and I don't know why. Nothing sunk in. So yeah, I was running away from home, and I was sleeping in mates' sheds and stuff like that, and just madness.
Do you think, like you said, your mum and dad, they did nothing wrong?
No.
How you were? Do you think at any point there's anything that would save you and save other people, or do you think once you? Do you know what I'm saying? Is there anything that would have stopped you right then, in your tracks, and got you back sort of?
I think at the age of 10 when I did that burglary, I wish I'd have just been taken right out of Manchester. And sort out a proper person for me to speak to. But do you know what? It wasn't the same back then as it is now, Sam. You know that yourself. Drug services and counselling services, there was nowhere near like what they are now. As a drug service, you want to. When my dad took me to a drugs counsellor, and I remember walking out after the first time. My dad's words were, "He is bleeding useless." You turn up, they'd go, "Are you okay? How are you feeling this week? You're not so bad, right? Okay, then I'll see you next week. Then I'll give you another appointment." But that's not. You don't counsel people out. That's not how to get somebody right for me.
Well, all services, whether that's mental health services, drug service, or anything else, are only good if the people are doing it. Some people, empathy, understanding, somebody you can talk to as a kid or whatever. Yeah. Somebody can be doing a job and, like the psychologist, you drew an house, you weren't daft. House, mum, dad, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. I learned quickly once I got in high school, I started knocking about on shops, that if I had money, I had friends. That was my mentality. I started robbing sheds, robbing mountain bikes from outside shops. I started burgling.
Were you doing it on your own?
A lot of it. Yeah. I was burgling. I was thieving. I was doing everything but violent crimes. That's what I was doing. So I'd turn up on the shops, and there'd be 4 or 5 people trying to get a fiver together for a fiver weed, and I'd have a couple of £100 on me. But back then, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
And so and I soaked up that attention. And I spoke about that in therapy, and he took me straight back to 7-year-old. the attention thing. Did I need attention? You know, when my brother
And
was
you
born.
didn't
When my brother were born, you know, listen, I never got treated any different than when my brother were born. We were still equal. We still had a awesome childhood. But maybe, you know, because I've been the only child up until 7, maybe there was some element of truth in it. I don't, you know. But yeah, so in high school, I've been took to court God knows how many times. For all kinds of different things, and my dad having to take me to court and coming to the police stations for me, and I remember being 14 and shooting someone with a crossbow, but it was an accident with a load of mates hanging about on bankings. I'd robbed a microwave from Job Centre, and this guy who was going to buy it, he said, well, I can either give you a YZ250, he said, without the piston rings.
It's a motorbike for you guys who don't know.
Or I'd give you this crossbow. So I said, I'll have a look at the crossbow, and he showed me this crossbow with these bolts, and I said, yeah. And I took it on our wagging school, Trinity school. I turned up at dinner time at the Smokers Tree where everyone used to go and everyone's come out, and we're all messing about with this crossbow. And a girl, I don't know who she was with, she'd walked off down Bankings to one of our mates, and I've held the crossbow up and I've shouted her name and said, I'm going to shoot you. But I was joking. And then I just felt a jolt on my shoulder. I seen a spark next to her foot. And she jumped out of the way, and she was calling me all kind of things, shouting how much her shoes cost her. But I thought it had missed her because I seen the spark about a couple of feet away from her, but it had not. It had ricocheted off the floor and gone straight through her foot.
Ooh.
So when I walked up to her foot and I looked down at her foot, half the bolt was on that side, the outside of the foot, half the bolt was on the inside of the foot. And I think after she got over the shock, she collapsed, and I said to my friend, he's not here no more, died on a motorbike. I said, carry her to school and, you know, get some help. I've got to get off. And I got off and I went and sat on, you know, Slackies over Kenyon Way, the rucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went and sat on there till about midnight, and then I come home, and my dad just said to me, look, you know, don't worry, she's okay. I've got to take you to the police station now. And they reckon if it had been a fraction either way, there'd have been a lot more damage than what was done. So I went to court for that, Section 18 wounding with intent, because there were witnesses saying I shouted, I'm going to shoot you, although I didn't mean it. So I went to court, and they give me so many hours, and it was called AV Row House, and it was next door to Eccles Police Station.
Yep.
And it was a place where you went and you gathered there, you played pool, and you did art therapy, and you spoke to people. It was like a supervision thing. And they took me on holiday to Whitby for the weekend. That was my punishment. Took me on holiday.
We get it so wrong, don't we?
Yeah.
What? Don't get me wrong, I ain't got all answers, but it weren't your parenting. Obviously, I don't know whether medication is a help with some kids when they're younger. I know meds can be amazing. They can also be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
I've talked to small groups of lads, you know. My mate was going down that route, working with some had already been to prison. You know, you can get their attention, talk to them for a couple hours about what prison's about and everything like that. But when you look at it, you know, they were doing some amazing stuff, taking them up on moors, on walks or whatever. Although it were worthwhile, definitely, it wasn't ever going to help or be a treatment.
No. I didn't realise the impacts this was having on my family. I couldn't see it, and that's why I think maybe there was something wrong. There was something, I wasn't wired up right. There was something wrong. I wasn't getting what I should be getting from what I was doing. And then obviously I've spoke about what happened at the pub
When you were 15?
when I was 15. That that.
I'll put a link in the description, guys.
Yeah.
If you're just getting on board with this now, to a little vlog where Keith talks about that. We don't need to go back over that, mate.
Yeah. Thanks for that, mate.
No,
but it changed. That changed quite a lot inside me. Insecure, ashamed. All these things that I was feeling, and I was holding them all in here, and I weren't letting anybody in, and I weren't letting anything out.
Couldn't tell your parents.
And I couldn't tell my parents, and the only one person I wanted to tell was my dad, because even today he's my rock, you know. And my mum was as well. My mum was my rock as well. What she's put up with is just any mother to an addict, or you know, someone who's been abused and has gone the way I went. You know, for a parent, it must be hard. But I first got, you'd only get so many chances, you know, and you get to a certain age, and then it's time for jail, then it's time for prison, and that's what the magistrates kept saying. You're nearly at that age.
Can I interject here? I just want to ask you about this before you go anywhere. So magistrates, right? Magistrates court, I obviously understand what it is. These people, you know, anyone can be a magistrate. You think prison before this time would have been appropriate and would have made any difference?
No.
Because, you know, short sentences, appearance of magistrates, community service, you know, magistrates making judgments. I'll tell you one that comes to mind. It was a young lass, a copper, yeah. She'd had to have all her head shaved off to attend to a wound. So some lad, 18-year-old, has assaulted her. I don't know what with. It was an improvised weapon. She's had her hair shaved off. She's got a wound on her head, stapled, yeah. And he walked out of magistrate's court with no prison sentence. For me, that is a no-brainer.
That's not he shouldn't have even been in magistrate. He should have been in Crown Court for something like that.
So for me, the people being in a position where you're not sort of qualified, anyone can do it, and making decisions like that is out of order.
Yeah. So yeah. Did you ask me if I thought I said this before?
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah. Do you think what you know the way you were going?
No. Well, let me tell you something. When I got my first sentence at 17, and they took me away from my parents, it ruined me, Sam. Ruined me. Now, if you'd have done that at any younger age, I don't even know what would have happened to me. So going to jail at 17 was hard. They sent me to a place called Weatherby. We got a 10-week sentence.
Is that young offenders place?
Yeah, it's young offenders in West Yorkshire.
Yeah, juvenile young offenders.
Well, it's like billets, units, and I went there, and all we were doing every day, we had to dig a 6-foot trench.
Yep.
And we had to dig it, I don't know, maybe 50 metres.
Was it like boot camp?
Yeah, I know loads of us, and we just had to do that, break time.
Yeah.
We'd have a fag, back to it.
Yeah.
Lunchtime, go back to billets, back in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then once we'd dug it, we had to fill it in.
Yep.
So the first time I was digging it, I thought it was something to do with lay pipes, going to do something.
Yeah.
When we'd finished, and he said, right, fill it in, lads. I thought it was second make. Fill it in. Just anyway, we filled it in, and that's what it was about. But it was physical stuff, and then back then I loved physical stuff. After that sentence, they sent. I thought every jail was like Weatherby, and it wasn't. They sent me to Inlet, and that was 1990, and I was in and out of Inlet till 1994 till I turned con.
Was it up to 21, 18,
It was
21?
up to 21, yeah. So yeah, 17 to 21. I'd already been bullied in my life in primary school. My dad had took me out of primary school and said, well, that's the last time that's going to happen. He took me to Thai boxing. Trained hard at Thai boxing.
So you got some discipline?
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it.
Keep you on track?
No, it didn't. It did up until high school. Started mixing with the wrong people, started missing a lesson here and a lesson there.
What would you say? Some people might be saying, start mixing the wrong people and thinking you're the wrong person.
Oh, I am the wrong person. I was the wrong person. But I was a lot younger.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, I was a lot younger. I've always knocked about with lads older than myself, so I was easily influenced. At Thai boxing, I weren't far off my red sash, and that was top sash. I only had another 2 sashes to go. I got to my second brown, and you know, if I'd have carried on, I'd have been red sash, going in for degrees or whatever else. But no. Anyway, I've gone to Inlay. Sweatbox on the way to Inlay. That's where the mental stuff started. People shouting across to you. Gets into Inlay, to the cage. Reception is a giant cage.
Okay.
Put you in this cage. Lad walks over to me. What size trainers are you at? What size trainers are them? Says 10. Alright then, can I try one on? No, do you want to try one on? I just want to try one on, it. Me, like an idiot, let him try one on. Try the other one on. I said, oh, you know, it's just the same as that one, innit? Next thing, crack. Kneed me straight in the face. I was sat down, he was stood up, kneed me in the face, trainer stuck off me. Had a good hiding, yeah. So, I've walked out the cage and I've got no shoes. Officers haven't even asked me why I've got no shoes, yeah. I've gone to the window part where the officer is, and he said, name. I went, Keith. Well, he hit me straight around the face. Whack. Nearly took my head off my shoulders. I didn't believe that could happen, but it happened.
Yep.
I still remember his name, Mr. Noakes. Horrible. So I said, what did you do that for? He said, name. So I thought it was my last name, so I said Keith Harrison. So he hit me again. And he said, name. And the lad out the cage shouted, your last name. So I went, Harrison. Smacked me again. When you address me as boss or sir. Yes, boss. And that was it. Everything was yes, boss after that, believe me. I didn't want no more cracks on the head. Gets onto the wing, and he gets onto the wing with a lad who took my trainers. So now he's told everybody, and then now I'm a target, aren't I? I'm a target, and it was full of Liverpool lads, and full of Liverpool lads that they ran that jail. Yep. It was their jail, in effect.
Yep.
If you were from Salford and Manchester, you had half a chance there. But if you were from anywhere else, you were classed as a bumpkin. Yep. You know, that's what they used to say, you're a bumpkin, you're Fraggle, Muppet, whatever, and they got it really hard. But I didn't have it so good. I was bullied quite a bit on that wing, and I'd got myself a pair of trainers by now, and I'd just had it. I'd just had enough of being beaten, things taken off me, canteen taken off me every week, and a lad from my primary school had told one of these lads that I do Thai boxing, and this lad had come up to me. I don't even have to say where he's from. He's come up to me and he said, you do Thai boxing, don't you? And I've said, yeah, and I'm better than you. I do this and I'm better than you. So let's have a fight, and just so we know. I said, I don't want to fight. He said, well, I'm just going to smack you if you don't. We've gone in the recess and we've had a fight, and this scouser was supposed to be somebody, and I ended up doing him in. Ended up giving him a pasting. He hit the floor, and I didn't let him back up after he hit the floor. None of his mates jumped in at that moment, Sam. But the following day, they come in my pad, a load of them, pasted me again. Didn't say anything to staff, and there were no TVs in the cells back then. Yep. So everybody used to talk at the windows. So you've got 100 cons all talking at the windows all at the same time. Yep. But they're all trying to talk over each other because they can't hear each other because there's so many conversations going on. But these lads were shouting my cell number, shouting my name, telling me what they were going to do to me. Wait till the morning, this is going to happen. This went on for hours, and I was sitting on my bed with my hands over my ears because it was killing me. I was so in fear of what was going to come. And this went on and on and on, mate. And when they come to me and told me I was being transferred to Stoke Heath, I thought, thank God for that. And I get to Stoke Heath. It was just the same. It was just full of bullies. YOs just think they've got something to prove. But I've never been like that where, you know what I mean, I feel like I've got to fight someone to, but that's what YOs is like.
Right, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions now. So a lot of people, I've talked about this before, you know, they call juveniles kids, they call 18, 21 young offenders kids. They can call them kids, but at the end of the day, a lot of these guys, you know, I work with them, they were like men.
Yep.
A lot of them were like
Big
men,
lads, some of them.
big in stature, they could fight. You know, when they're talking about kids and how we look after them, it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, staff are getting assaulted all the time. Juveniles and young offenders, lots and lots of assaults. The only people I've heard who have been in that system behind the door who have got anything from it, who people who have been to boot camps.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, and said, you know, you're jogging everywhere. You know, everything's double time, proper boot camp. And
I love that.
Yeah, well, you know, these places are full of testosterone, aren't they? And it's all about respect and this sort of thing. So they're brutal.
Yeah.
And I've no doubt it made you.
I remember standing at the top of the stairs. I was queuing up to go for my dinner. Someone hit me over the back of the head with a PP9 in a
What's
sock.
PP9?
So PP9.
A battery.
Oh.
Is it one of the old big batteries?
Right, so it's about so big, like about that high.
Big
It's a
square battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you used to put your wires on that and then wires to your radio, and you used to sell them at the canteen.
Right.
And there was ever.
Yep.
And that was, I mean, I heard you talking the other day
Yeah,
about
exactly.
pool balls in a sock.
Anything in a sock is
Anything like that. Bars of soap, tins of tuna, whatever, you know. These batteries held some weight. He knocked from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs. Ended up cutting my head open. Didn't know who'd done it, because the cowards wouldn't say anything. So, throughout my life, there's always been a theme of me being bullied. When it was primary school, for anti-boxing, it was the abuse that I suffered at the pub, the wiles. But that, you'd have thought that would have stopped me. People say, well, if it was that bad, why did you go back to jail? Well, I didn't knock on the door and ask, can I come in? When you go and commit a crime, you don't think, right, I'm going to commit this crime, I'm going to go and get caught today.
Yep.
You always believe you're not going to get caught, or you wouldn't commit a crime, Sam.
Yep.
It's, you know, so I didn't just take myself back to jail. My actions may have contributed to me going back, but nevertheless. Anyway, so all the way through YOs, well, till about, that was 1990, about 1993, ended up back in Inley again. And I got a black eye, and one of his staff, Mr. Mac, top guy, ex-rugby player, big lad.
He's going to be solid then, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a good guy. He come and leant over at landing with me, like, I was a cleaner at this point, so leant over at landing like this, and he's gone, you're not ready to tell me yet? I said, tell you what? And he said, oh, come on, what's going on? I said, oh no. I said, well, let's just say there's going to be some changes to this wing. And what he did, over dinner time, bang up, is he arranged for the Liverpool lads, who wasn't bullies, to move to D wing. Left the bullies on the wing with me, but brought all Salford lads from D wing to my wing. So you had all these, the names that I can mention, you know every single one of these names, yeah? But I'm not going to mention names, but anyway, they've come over and let's just say we had some fun.
So being from Salford, straight away now you are part of something, aren't you?
Well, this is it now, this is it. There's about 12 of us. 12 of us was enough to take hold of that.
I will
wing.
know more, won't I?
Yeah, you will, yeah. You will. A lot of them got on to big things.
Did you have any straighteners then? Because now, as it were, you've got a bit of backup. Was it like, right, you and me?
No, I wanted the main one. I wanted the main one who'd give me the black eye and took my Waterman off me. He took me Waterman, took the tapes, yeah. I wanted that one, yeah. I ended up having that one. That one was dealt with.
Was it a proper straightener?
Yeah, it was a straightener. But one of the Salford lads, he'd come over for a reason. Let's put it that way. So yeah, it went off big time. It went off. It was arranged that it went off in the community room first.
Yep.
a lot of pool balls and pool cues and chairs, and yeah, and then it was all arranged that we was going to meet in the gym, because these lads were saying, you know, if such a body off first wing, if they come over here, all right. So we arranged to meet at the gym. We met at the gym. Manchester and Salford teamed up together, and then you had the Liverpool lads, and it kicked off in the gym, and it was like a mini riot. There was dumbbells and weight bars and all sorts. Staff ran out onto the M1, which is a big long corridor.
Yep.
The gym was halfway down the M1. The fight spilled out onto the M1. There's people running all over the place. I mean, staff have got it under control after so long. And there was quite a lot of ship out. So, you know, all Liverpool lads ended up going to Lancaster Farms.
Yep.
We ended up going to Stoke Heath.
Yep.
And it changed things at Inley, that, because once you'd been sentenced, if you was Liverpool Farms, if you was Salford, Manchester, you were going Stoke. They tried to separate us as much as possible. Yep. You know, and that's what they did. They separated us. So, but it's still, I mean, they separate everybody. You know, bullying will always be in prison. You know that. You can't get. It's like trying to get the drugs thing under control. You know, unless there was no visits and no corrupts.
For me, the best way of dealing with bullying, or trying to deal with it as an officer, was having people out and you can see what's going on. Yeah. And you can
see who's being bullied.
If you're a decent officer, you can see what's going on. Someone's quiet, black, you know, that sort of thing. You can only do your best, can't you?
Yeah. Inley were that bad. Yeah. Even when I'd had a bit of backup, a couple of months before my birthday, I ended up in court, and I gave a false date of birth so I could go to Strangeways. Well, Strangeways had just got tellies. It was like 94, something like that. Strangeways had just got TVs. 93. Leading into 90. Oh no, it might have been beginning of 94 actually. Yeah, it was in the 94. So I was 21 this year, and a couple of months before, like I said, blagged my age, and I got to Strangeways, and sitting in my cell with a telly, and you know, it was a lot different. But
was it calmer being an adult jail?
Oh, well, I couldn't believe it, because, well, it's not the same now. When I turned 21, you go into an adult jail, there were a lot of older lads in the 40s, you know, and they'd see you, and it was like they knew it was your first time. They'd come up to you, how you doing, lad? First time? Yeah, just turned 21, right. Have you got coffee? Do you need a burn? Go see me. And that's what it was like, Sam. You know, they always help the young lads. A lot of the old lads.
I've got to say, you've been on K-Wing, haven't you?
Yeah.
When I were on there, so for those of you who don't know, biggest wing in the northwest, there is bigger wings at over 3 landings. Yeah, there's bigger wings, 5 stories at Liverpool, but 200 cons on there. And I've got to say, when I was on there and prisoners were out, the lads who were mentally unwell got looked after. Lads who you would think would get bullied didn't get bullied. The cleaners were always on it. You know, keep an eye on Mr. S. Or you'd say to the cleaners, look, keep an eye out on him, keep an eye, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. And it was like Lord of the Jungle. People did look after other people. Yeah.
Every sentence I've had, I've been a cleaner, basically. On every sentence I've ever done, I've been a cleaner.
You'll have been a model prisoner,
yeah,
no bother.
So I know how it works.
Did you ever assault an officer?
No.
You don't have to be so defensive.
Listen, I do what a good idea. That's just a stupid move.
Do you know what somebody said to me, having just done that? I'm just going to bring this up as well. They said about touching people. You know, I am, you know, because you don't know people, where they've been, what's happened, how uncomfortable they are. I think we know each other well enough now, don't we? There's no.
Yeah, I'm alright with that. Yeah, so I'm in this cell. It was an absolute disgrace, this cell, and I scrubbed it. I scrubbed it, and it was gleaming when I finished. Yeah, I was nice settled. I got my pictures up, and you know, made it homely. About a week later, officers opened the door and said, "Harrison, back you get. Where you going? You want 3s?" What? I said, "I've just scrubbed this." He said, "I know." He said, "It's not my decision." So I've gone up on 3s. That cell was exactly the same. Scrubbed that one. Took me all day to scrub that one. Made it nice. A couple of days later, door open. "Harrison, pack your kit. When we're going now?" "Going on 1s." "What for?" "Well, staff have just SO said you need to go on 1s. Don't know what it is. You got to go on 1s." Like, we need this cell. So I said, he's just moving me around the wing so I clean your cells. Anyway, he started laughing stuff. He said, no, mate. Anyway, I've gone downstairs. A few days later, doors open. Alison, pack your kit. I went, where am I going now? He said, Inley, your mother's been on the phone. You're only 20. My mum had phoned jail.
Really?
Yeah, my mum had phoned jail and said, she must have thought adult jail a lot worse than young offenders, you know. So I'll keep him safe. I'll get him back there.
There's no farther from the truth, is there, mate?
You're not kidding. So anyway, I've said, oh boss, only a few weeks now, my birthday. Listen, we can't, we couldn't, anything happen to see you, blah blah. Anyway, text me back to him now, staff are laughing. I've gone straight back on wing that I'm used to. So they said, listen, we'll give you a cleaner's job for the last few weeks. So
you're older and wiser now though, aren't you?
yeah, of course. So I've got this cleaner's job. And I remember on my birthday, because you didn't have phones then. I remember on my birthday, an officer said, do you want to phone your mum? And I was like, yeah. It was like a bubble where the staff used to sit. So it's a glass bubble so they could see round the wing. So I'm in this office now and I'm on phone and I'm chatting away to my mum. She's saying happy birthday and yeah. All clean, just start sidling on the mops and brushes, just looking at me smirking. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Not have a clue what was going on. Anyway, cut a long story sideways. I ended up walking around all day with boot polish on the ear. Yeah,
we're going to say.
Yeah, the staff had put boot polish on the earpiece, hadn't they, for a laugh. I walking around like an idiot. But yeah, I wasn't unhappy to see the back of Inley. But what I didn't take into account is my mum and dad and my brother watching me getting taken out of the house at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, out of bed, put into the back of a police van, taken to a police station, going through all the court process with me getting sent to prison, and them not seeing me for years at a time.
You didn't see it through their eyes?
No, I couldn't. I didn't know what impact that would have had, because selfishly, mate, I didn't think about it. You know, I missed them daily every time I went to prison. Missed them daily, but I didn't see it from. Did
they visit you?
Yeah, they travelled all over the country, mate. They've travelled all over. And they don't drive, my mum and dad. They've got trains all over the country. Yeah, all over the country to visit me. You know, on a weekly or fortnightly basis. North Yorkshire, you know, we're everywhere. So yeah, they've been through it. Also, they've you know, they've had people turning up at the house, and they've had trouble in the street. You know, these are respectable people. They think a lot about the neighbours as well. You know what I mean? And and as much.
Well, they're things normal people worry about, don't they?
Yeah. In what people think about them and stuff like that, and reputation. And I didn't see it, mate. I just kept ploughing on. I remember my dad saying something about, you know, when you go to jail. I went, yeah. He said, do you know what it does to your brother Dean? I said, no. He said, you know, you're his hero, and he looks up to you. And I thought, what? And I didn't know that. But I'm his big brother, so
yeah.
And he said to me only a matter of weeks ago. He said, you know what, Keith? He said, you know, when you was doing all the stuff you were doing when you as a kid. He said, I used to think, I used to be proud of you. I think, yeah, you're mad. You don't give a shit. He said, don't look back now. You was an absolute tosser. That's what he says. And it's embarrassing when I look back, you know. And you just what things you do. And so yeah, it's just been jail, Sam.
Did you say since about 1990 to now?
From 1990 up until this sentence, the longest I've ever been out of jail was 7 months. Since 1990. This time I've been out, it's coming up to, well, November 2020 I got out.
So it's, what are you looking at, about 18 months now?
Yeah.
Is this the longest you've ever been out?
Yeah, that's what I said, 7 months is the longest I've been out up until now.
Do you know what? Tell me then, you know, about your time out, because...
Well, look, I've done a lot of work in jail, Sam, you know. I've done counselling diplomas, I've done courses, I've done programmes, I've done therapy. 2003 therapy.
You had therapy?
Yeah.
Was that when you went to that therapeutic community?
I went there twice.
Just explain to people what you think it was, and what it is, a therapeutic community.
So a therapeutic community, it's the only jail in the country where the whole jail is
Grendon?
Is a therapeutic community. So there's 40 people on each wing.
Yep.
And there's 5 wings.
Yep.
So the population's really low.
Is that all there is? 200 people?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, I never realised it was that small.
And you've got the induction wing, which is a continuous rollover. So you have 8 people in your group. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're in a small group. So you're in a small group of 8. Yep. Right. So them 8 people, if the same 8 people in that group until one of you gets discharged. Grendon, you don't see many discharges. They're few and far between. So, and then on a Monday and a Friday, so there's 5 groups of 8. There's 5 groups of 8 on the wing.
Yeah.
On a Monday and Friday, all them groups come together. You all sit in one big room, and you have agendas. You have a chairman, you have a vice chairman, which are prisoners.
Yep.
And they'll speak about an agenda. Somebody may say, "Can I put a minute in the book? I want to talk about my crime, victims, and whatever else."
Yep.
Now he'll speak about that, and then he'll get challenged off 40 prisoners about different things, all trying to help him. Yeah, if they think his attitude's not right about this or that, then they challenge him on that.
What role do the staff play then?
Right, so you've got prison officers in there.
Yep.
They as a group facilitators, and staff on the wing, obviously.
Yep.
So they'll sit in the group while you have your group. Now, every now and again, the therapist may come and sit in your group.
Yeah. How did you get there? Only 200 people, prison population 90,000.
You have to volunteer. You have to volunteer to go to this prison. At the time, it was an 8-month waiting list.
Yep.
I believe it's a lot longer now. So you apply through the prison. They will get you the stuff from Grendon. It's like an application form. You have to write a letter. Why do you want to come to Grendon?
You have to sign a compact when you go there.
Yeah, because there's sex offenders in that prison. But they ask you why you want to go there, and you have to speak in depth of why you want to go. Basically, when you get there, you go onto an induction wing and you do different stuff like psychometrics and things like that, and you do group work there as well. So you'll have groups of 8 there, and it's to see. The induction wing, you can stay on there up to 12 weeks.
Yep.
And it's to see if you've got the ability and the capacity to deal with therapy without it having an adverse effect, if you like.
Yeah, which you can. I know that myself.
Definitely. So you may only be on there 6 weeks because the staff can recognise that this guy's going to be all right.
Yep.
Do
people get knocked back from there?
Yeah, I've known people to be refused from there, yeah.
And where would they go? Back to their establishment they come from?
Right, so whenever you go to Grendon, whether you get accepted onto the wing or not, you're on a 6-month sail and return.
Right, okay.
Okay, so anything goes wrong or you pull out of therapy or anything like that, you're back to the jail you came from.
Yeah.
So I went there from Walton prison.
Yep.
I was in Walton when I went there.
HMP Liverpool.
Yeah. So Grendon, you've got a therapist, you've got criminologists, you've got psychiatrists, psychologists, probation workers. Everybody is therapy minded, even your gym staff.
Yep.
Gym staff, the chaplains, everything. Now, there's when you do your group work, you'll do a group from 9 till 10:30.
Yep.
Right. So after that group's finished, what you do then is all 8 groups go into one big room, and one member of that group will speak about what you've spoke about in that group, but they'll keep certain things. You know, if I go to a group and I start talking about being abused as a child, this person who's giving feedback might say, yeah, group 1, that's us, Keith spoke today about something very sensitive, so could you just be mindful of him today, give him a bit of space or give him a bit of support. And so that's what the feedback's about. It's about letting everybody else know who spoke and what headspace they're in. So for me, I got quite a lot from Grendon. The way I looked at things, especially with the abuse. And I realised that there are so many prisoners that have been through the same thing, you know, hell of a lot. And if it's not sexual abuse, you know, it'd be one of the other three: neglect, physical, psychological, you know. And it's had an effect, you know, and that's probably where they are on that day. Listen, there's a lot of big sentences in that jail.
Yep.
Razor Rug was there. When I was there, there's a lot of lifers, more lifers in there than anything else.
Yep.
You've got to have a minimum of 2 years left on your sentence.
Yep.
To go there.
Yep.
Because they reckon Grendon doesn't, because therapy doesn't really set in properly. They reckon after 6 months, something will click. 12 months, another thing will click. 18 months, 2 years. But 2 years is like, that's when you're starting to reflect on the work you've done and put it into practice. However, you can be there 5-6 years. You know, you don't have to be there for the 2 years. You can be there for 5-6 years.
Can I ask you, have you any idea of cost?
What for Grendon?
Well, you know, a normal prisoner, 45, 50 grand a year.
No, I have no idea. Not the food. Listen, it's like going to a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, listen, on a Friday you go for your fish and chips. So all your food is cooked in front of you, right? So you sit in the dining room, it's like going to Tesco Cafe. You sit in the dining room, the cafe's there,
yeah.
You know. So everything's, you know, fried chips. As soon as it come out, they're on the plate. There you go.
Do you think they can only do that because it's such a small place?
Yeah. They do a lot for charity, Grendon, as well. The prisoners do as well. We all put money in a kitty every week for charities. The old raffles, did you have family days? So the family days are twice a year. Your family come onto the wing.
Yep.
You will have a big meal. So beforehand, you'll all sit in a room and you say, right, family day's coming up, guys.
Yep.
We've all put money in this pot. This is how much we've got. The governor's giving us X amount to add to it. So the therapist is going to go to Tesco for us. We need to decide what we want to eat and what our families want to eat. So we'll go, right, we'll have a choice of 4 meals, yeah? And then we'll say, what does your family want? Oh, they'll have such and thing. What about your family? Well, it's vegan or Muslim or whatever. And that therapist will go and get all the shopping. Now he'll bring it back. It'll sit in the kitchens and then it'll come down on the day. And the lads who are not having family day, they'll do the cooking. They'll do the cooking for you. But like I say, all your food, it's cooked in front of you. Friday, fish and chips. You have to break your fish in half for it to fit on your plate. You know, it's really good food. There's some good perks there. So once you've done your hour and a half in the morning therapy, and then you've done your little feedback, that's it. Yeah. The day's yours then. But you might have, you know, there's obviously kitchens jobs, there's cleaners jobs, there's gym orderlies, but there's no industries. You know, there's nothing like that. You don't
go to work like
no.
Prisons have some sort of
no, not at all. I think there's an education. There is a bit of education. But you can just play pool or snooker if you want. You can go to the gym twice, 2-3 times a day. You go to the gym there. You do volleyball in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, weights or fitness at the evening.
For you, did it work?
Did the therapy?
Did the therapy work? And what I'm mindful of is, I don't know. I'm not doing. If I was doing a big sentence, that sounds like a good place to be. You've got good food. You get loads of gym. Could you go along with the routine because it's a better place to be than being at Strangeways or HMP Liverpool? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to talk about it from your perspective. Did it work? Was it the fact that, you know, about the place and everything that works, not only the therapy? Because obviously food's a big issue in prison, yeah. Gym's a big issue in prison, time out of cell's a big issue in prison.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, 3 years I was there, I didn't hear the riot bell go off once. Now then, if me and you were having a fight on a landing in Strangeways, right?
Yeah.
Not you as an officer, so you'd have me and you were having a fight on landing.
Obviously as an officer.
You know, go
on. Yeah.
There's either going to be people joining in, or there's going to be just people watching it for the entertainment, or they're going to be cheering you. Right, that don't happen in Grendon. As soon as you stand up to have any kind of argument with anybody, whoever is in that vicinity will come over and go, whoa, lads, what are you doing? You call a group special, take it to your group. You do the same, take it to your group, talk
Is this
about it.
other prisoners?
Yeah. And you'll go, do you know what, all right, the call a group special, you'll go down, that's your group, and you'll just say, look, I've just had an argument with such a body, this is what happened, this is how I feel, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, okay, they'll calm you down, make you look at it from this angle, what's best for you. Is it, you know, did you react the right way? Once you're sitting comfortable now, yeah, them two groups will come together. Them two people will have a conversation that's dealt with.
Okay, so
the safety element of Grendon.
Right, I understand that. I can understand that being I think smaller prisons are safer anyway. Yeah. On a whole, or better prisons probably to work at. Although I never worked at one. You've said, you know, there is a population of abusers there.
Yeah.
As someone who has been abused, how did that sit with you?
So
because. If you're saying what's right, then somebody might well be telling you there that they've harmed children.
Oh yeah, no. Right. So people who've harmed children will have their own wing in Grendon. People
right. So you're not going to be
rape. They'll be on the wing.
Okay.
Yeah, but not children.
Right. Okay.
Same thing for me, but never mind. No, I at that time seen every abuser as my abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to learn to separate the facts in order to move and progress and to not hold resentments, you know, because them resentments, they only affect me. They only affect me on my mental state.
Yeah, of course it does.
You know, but these are things you learn in Grendon. You don't understand things like that until you're learning these things in Grendon. You know, how you treat people and things like that. But to be honest with you, Sam, I just give them a body's worth, mate. I gave them a body's worth. They had their own little clique.
Yeah.
I had my little clique, and that's the way it was. But yeah, for me, Grendon works because the safety element, the therapy is it's really hard. You know, there's many tears, there's loads of emotions, there's loads of anger. Then we don't challenge each other. Like we're in kindergarten, we challenge each other hard on stuff we've done, you know, and they say as long as your bum stays on that seat, you can say almost anything.
People have told me that before.
Yeah.
You know, what sort of happens in the session that it's done, you know.
Yeah.
You speak your mind, say it how it is.
Yeah.
Challenge whatever you want to challenge.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, when you're having an argument, people are just intervene and they just put a stop to it because they look at it as this is our community. They look after it, you know. It's painted nice, it looks nice, you're eating good food, so it's an incentive to go and do the therapy because of the regime. Yeah, so yeah.
You know, the last 10 minutes I can feel you. You know, like feel a sort of
passion.
Yeah, but also it's quite heavy shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's
real. You know?
Very much so. So, you did 3 years there?
Did three and a half year actually. I wasn't IPP then. I was doing an 8-year sentence. But I went down there to deal with the abuse and they put 2 sex offenders in the group, and so I didn't talk about that. I didn't talk about the abuse. I told you that. I didn't talk about the abuse. I just spoke about what I wanted to speak about, really, and just different things. But I still learned a lot of stuff. When I got out, like I say, within 7 months, I was lifed off basically, and I went back. And I told the head therapist, Richie Shuko, look, I've been abused as a child. I know you think I blagged it last time. I didn't blag it. I got a lot from it, but I need to deal with this.
Yeah.
And he said, right, okay. But let me tell you, at the end of that 3.5 year, the reports I had...
First time you went there?
Oh yeah, the reports I had were glowing about what I'd done and things like that. And I think they thought I'd cracked it, all the staff and all the professionals. So when I applied to go back,
yeah,
they were rubbing their hands together because they didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that they think I'd cracked it, or they think I'd blagged it, and they weren't going to let me do it this time. And let me tell you, He was a lot harder the second time.
Was
a
it?
Lot, oh yeah, yeah. A lot harder. I had to work on stuff for a lot longer. So say in 2003, was the first time I was there. If I was speaking about something, I might have to speak about it for 3 sessions. When I went back this time, I was speaking it for 7, 8, 9 sessions. You know, so I had to look deep into myself and ask myself why after 3.5 years
Yeah.
with intense therapy,
Yeah.
did I then go on within 7 months to relapse back into heroin addiction, crack cocaine addiction, and running about doing armed robberies.
Shall we leave it there for now?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good place to stop. And then we can pick it up later. Keep me old.
Nice one, my mate.
No, thank you very much, mate, for your
Cheers.
honesty. As always, like I said, the last 10 minutes you could feel quite heady now. I think we'll go and get a brew, shall we, mate?
That sounds like a plan, yeah.
Keith, thanks for coming. I'm sorry I made you jump at the beginning. I'll see you there.
I'll see you there.